This anywhere.
That is exactly the conversation that happened.
And as Alex is thinking about that, I'm like, Devin's like, I should get a video done in a month or so.
I should probably warn you guys that we're officially live right about now.
I know.
Just making sure.
Hey guys, can't you see the progress this wall?
It's very cool.
The crown molding's up. I got my huge ADHD whiteboard. Yep. Like,
yeah, it's awesome. But no, Meg, you're exactly correct. That's exactly what happened in my head. I was like, maybe
you can't move it.
I'm breaking. I'm falling apart. So, good morning, everyone. This is an early live stream. It's not about content, it's about wall progression. Honestly successful. If it's about wall progression, Devin's winning this game. But
Alex,
yes,
flip your thing to live chat.
Oh dear Lord, why? Why can't I just make this a setting? Why can't this be a default setting? I'm gonna go check the default settings.
I want to say it every stream.
No, I'm gonna look it up and see if I can find it out. I'm gonna see if I can find it. It's just gonna be what it's gonna be. But with that said,
fix it live.
We're gonna no, we'll do it not live. Good morning, everyone.
Oh, okay.
It's 9 a.m. The reason it's 9 a.m. is because that's how time zones work. But the reason we're here at 9 a.m. is because it's been a fun morning. I've had a meeting at 7:30, a meeting at 8:30. I have a meeting at 10. It's going to be a very, very fun day, and I don't want to miss the live because we missed the live last week. What's up, Meg?
We have a Nuka here today.
We have a Nuka.
Nuka's here sleeping.
George, we don't count Devin's time zone. We don't. George, did you miss the last clue for Just One yesterday? Did you miss it? Because if no one told you yet, maybe people told you. But we were playing Just One. We were playing Just One over in Camp Co-op last night. And then towards the end, the word was attorney, right? Attorney. Mm-hmm. The word was attorney, and 3 people wrote George, and the person had no clues. No clues. Tobias, a good question about the thumbnail. The problem is I was trying to create a thumbnail with about, 2.5 minutes till we were going live. And so I was like, I'm just going to pull an old thumbnail that had us there, and I'm not going to worry about anything else. And it is what it is. It is a lie. I pulled you all in thinking you're going to see magnificent ponchos, and there's none. Not even a one. If I got up, I could get one for myself. They're over there. But I'm not going to do that right now because I'm running the show. Good morning, Riha. Good morning, Tobias. Good morning, Successful. Good morning, all of you. This is going to be a live stream that is going to actually end by 10 o'clock. The reason for that is because I have people coming over at 10 o'clock. I mean, within an hour.
I'll believe it when I see it.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. To that end,
Who's coming over?
We have Steam Forge Games coming over for some secret fun stuff. I guess. Maybe.
Ooh.
I mean, it's not that much of a secret unless I tell you what it is, but it's not crazy. It's like we're gonna play some games. We're gonna have some fun. Fallout the board game. That's not. Is Steam Forge doing Fallout the board game? Is it really? No. And Successful. This is not me being coy. I know nothing about Fallout the board game. What is happening on Fallout the board game?
Fallout the board game. Currently looking it up
on Twitter.
I am very intrigued by that conversation. Maybe I'm about
get the tweet.
Because I have an agenda, and none of my agenda says Fallout the board game, so whatever. And by the way, I would not be coy. If you guys had some sort of tweet or something like that, or this or that, I'd be like, yeah, it's Fall Out the board game, but I got nothing. That said, we're not going to worry about Steamforge right now. We'll worry about that in the future. Today, we're going to worry about the fact that we have a show to get done. We have games to talk about. We have a game show that is, in my mind, ridiculously funny, but also could be a horrific flop. We'll just deal with that later. And then lastly, we are not going to have a Patreon exclusive topic like we normally do because we're trying to end on time, and I didn't want to cram something in a space that wouldn't fit. To that end,
We tend to go over an hour.
we tend to go over an hour. Revised draft, up late for an assignment and have accidentally stumbled upon my first live. Normally I just watch in the morning, so hi from Australia. Good morning, good evening.
Oh,
good
hey.
evening.
We caught you.
Oh,
I mean,
successful.
technically it is good morning if he said he's up late.
I understand successful now. I am older now. Successful is referring to the Steamforged Vault. The Steamforged Vault, for those of you who want to know about it, is basically they are opening, kind of similar to the Command Time Machine, for those who are familiar with that. The Steamforged Vault is Steamforge saying, hey, we have now a bunch of our stuff that was previously unavailable you can now buy, because, like, it's like the vault is opening, like the time machine was opening, so, like, that kind of situation. And so you can buy stuff if you missed a few expansions from Resident Evil 2, or if you want some of the, what's the big one that they do?
Horizon Zero
Dark
Dawn.
Souls, that's the one. The
Dark
Dark
Souls,
Souls. If you missed some of the
Resident
expansions,
Evil.
I think Horizon Zero Dawn 2, they have a bunch of those things going to be available. So if you do want to find those hard to find expansions from Steamforged games, the Steamforged Vault is open. If you do want to play Fallout from Steamforged games, you're going to have to wait a little longer for that. But with that said, let's go ahead and
You
jump
heard
into
it
this.
here first. Board Game Co.
Let's go ahead and jump on into this. I'm going to start us off with the first game, which this is our usual, what's on our table situation, where we all pick a game to talk about. And in this case, this is a game that, Meg, you have actually played, and that is going to be, let me see if I can pull up my screen here, Witchstone. Witchstone, which we had a chance to play at PAX East recently, but Witchstone is basically a game from, I don't even know who the designer is now I'm thinking about it. I don't know. Oh,
It's like
Reina
an older
Knizia.
game.
It's Reina Knizia. I did not know that. Huh.
Well, that's probably because it's in cursive, which you haven't had to do since 3rd grade. Whoever
No, I
writes in
think-
cursive still.
I think what threw me off is the game had a theme. Anyways, Witchstone, which I did not realize was from Reina Knizia, and someone else as well, it looks like, unless that's the artist. But basically, Witchstone is a game in which you are taking, I think, 11 actions across the course of the game, except the 11 actions is really a lie. You see, in Witchstone, what's actually happening, see if I can find an actual picture of the components, because I think the board would be, here we go, let's grab this guy over here. This board over here, you basically have these little action tiles, so you can see hidden behind the screen over there, and you're going to place them into your own little pots, and each time you place them into the pots, you take actions that are going to be equal to the number of things each thing is touching. So in other words, there's 6 actions in the game, and what you can do is you can grab one of the tiles, put it down, and then if you have a bunch of symbols touching each other, so you have a chain of, let's say, 5 gems, you get to take the gem action 5 times. And if your little witch is touching 3 witches, you take the witch action 3 times. So even though you're only placing 11 tiles across the course of the game, the strength of your actions actually gets progressively stronger as you add more and more things to your own personal cauldron. Past that, it's basically point scoring, point salad, all that kind of thing, because you're trying to do a dozen different things. You're trying to place witches onto the main board. You can see that in the crystal ball that you're placing witches on, you're moving them around to get strength within the crystal ball area, which also is also full of witch towers that you're going to have. You're trying to get locations on towers. Then you also have these scoring cards on the side that you can kind of see, which you're trying to earn those scoring cards, because those will give you multipliers for various things you've done across the course of the game. You're trying to move some of your gems outside of your pot. You're trying to put them into the various sideboard of potions on the side. You're being mindful of the top corner pentagram as you move your owl around the pentagram, collecting points as well as abilities that will go into your cauldron. And you're basically trying to be mindful, and there's the wand on the bottom of the track as well. And so there's 6 different things you can do in the game, from creating links, moving your witches and putting your witches out, from the pentagram, from the collecting new cards, and from the moving your gems out of your pot, and then the wand at the bottom, and all those 6 things are just trying to figure out what combination of actions works best for you. I need to play the game more right now, but I liked my first play, while also not being confident it's a game that I need to hold on to. I think the main puzzle that is charming and interesting is the combination of placing tiles into your cauldron, as well as what areas of the board you're trying to go for. Because ultimately, this is a game that you want to focus on stronger, because you can take a bunch of weak actions, or you can just get certain actions stronger and stronger and stronger, and you kind of want to find at least 1 or 2 strong paths, and then augment that with peripheral actions that make your whole picture better. It did give me strong Castle of Burgundy vibes in terms of the juggling of regions you want to complete and regions you're just going to go for, but I don't know if it has the same degree of replayability Instinctively, I think I enjoy it and don't need to keep it, but I am going to be giving it a few more plays to see exactly where it lands. But that's Witchstone. Overall, enjoyed it.
Yeah, for me,
Nice.
this one didn't grab me. That I had a fine time playing it, but I didn't like love anything about it.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know why. I feel like the
How mean were you able to be to Alex?
Not that mean.
pretty mean. I did pretty well.
Different answers
Well, I played it
entirely.
well.
You guys can't even agree on that.
Um, but yeah, I don't know why I didn't love the puzzle of linking the witches in that board. I liked the puzzle of the cauldron, but the linking them and grabbing different things, it wasn't, I don't know, it wasn't exciting for me.
Yeah, I respect that. For me, I think my issue is that I very much enjoyed the puzzle of putting tokens into the cauldron, trying to find the optimal things, but I feel that because of the fact that you're focusing on just getting as many actions as possible of one chain, I feel that puzzle isn't necessarily going to hold on and be rewarding over like 5 or 6 plays. I feel it's a puzzle I'm going to dive into 2 or 3 times and then call it a day, as opposed to Castle of Burgundy. And I think part of that for me is because in Castle of Burgundy, everything is so intrinsically linked that I kind of get the feeling of being able to dabble in different areas of the game, even as I focus heavily on one. Versus in Witchstone, I feel like most of the areas of the game are kind of their own little puzzle and don't heavily involve other areas. And so I guess it's not entirely true. Now that I'm thinking about it, if I'm thinking objectively, the board gives you bonus tiles, the pentagram gives you bonus tiles, and those link with other areas. Pushing gems off the board gives you bonus actions, and the cards link with everything else, and the wand gives you bonus actions and things. So I guess that everything is intrinsically linked. Which, yeah, I mean, this my whole thing is, I think my first instinct is kind of where you are, but I feel there's a puzzle here that if I dive into multiple times, it'll either cement that or be like, no, this is a very intriguing puzzle. Yep, but that's my pick over here.
Nice.
Which means, Devin, what do you want to talk about?
I want to talk about Dune Imperium, and I want to discuss it, even though I haven't played it like in the last couple weeks, and that's because I was watching it played, which is just, like, it sounds really weird, but there is, like, so this is partially a game shout out, partially kind of like content creator and community shout out. So there is this content creator that I have just recently kind of discovered, and his name is Orski, Orski, and he has about 2,000 subscribers. So if you like Dune Imperium content, or if you like gameplay content, go over there and like give him a follow and go ahead and subscribe to him. But he was playing actually a game of Dune War for Arrakis, which intrigued me because I was like, Alex and I have played that a couple times together, and I really like it, and I'm excited about it.
Did he play it correctly?
I think they did. I mean, he lost, so must have played it correctly, like you. And but he was playing against another content creator who I think is part of this Dune Imperium community that I'm about to talk about, called Hidden Assets. So there's another content creator for you. And they had a lost condition. It was a series on Orski's channel called Board Game Showdown, and he lost. So the other one gave a stipulation for what his losing, requirement was, and he said you have to play a game of Dune Imperium without ever drafting cards that have green pentagon icons on them for worker placement. And I was like, that's such a specific rule, but also what I didn't realize is that they play on a very active TTS mod community of like Discord Dune Imperium players. And so I then watched his follow-up video where he's like, I have this challenge. And he's like, I decided to make it even harder for myself. I didn't buy cards with green on them. And I didn't even go to the green spots. So he didn't go to the High Council. He didn't go to the Swordmaster. And then he was able to eventually win. But it was kind of like, I watched him play a sped-up version of numerous games on TTS. And I just didn't realize that there was such a good scripted mod for Dune Imperium on TTS, because the three of us have been playing so heavily on BGA. I really kind of just steer towards TTS if I'm doing like,
After this, you guys want to play Dune Imperium after this?
I will play Dune Imperium on TTS with you guys. And so, yeah, no, so I was literally watching Orski play, and it just revived my appreciation and my love for that game, like, all over again. Like, I love Dune Imperium so much, and just getting to see how quickly people can play through the game because they're playing on TTS and that scripted mod was, like, really, really enjoyable. And I don't normally like watching people play board games. I normally, like, abhor it. I don't watch, like, any board game gameplay content really on YouTube at all. So the fact that, like, his narration, voice narration over the digital overlay of TTS was able to engage me, I was really impressed by. So yeah, like Dune Imperium, Orski, Hidden Assets, they have a huge, like, TTS online community that I think operates through Discord as, like, where they meet up and chat and stuff. But yeah,
Yeah.
super cool.
That does sound fun. I mean, first of all, just for the
Yeah.
record, I am 100% down for regular scheduled plays of anything. BGA is like our go-to background stuff because you can do turn-based. But if we ever want to do dedicated gaming on TTS, Tabletopia, anything like that, I am happy to. Whether it's stuff we want
Game
to
night.
try or game night. Game night. Okay, I like games. I like games, even if it's online. I like my peoples, and so yeah, I'm happy to play Dune Imperium because it's an excellent game.
Sweet.
That should be a good 10x10, 12x12 challenge.
I know. I thought about it as well when I was like, dude, I was like, if you could play that easily on TTS, I was like, that could be a 12x12.
Yeah, I'll do it. I find the only problem with BGA versus other platforms is BGA, because of the turn-based, I can have 12 games going a day, and I do have 12 games going a day. Versus anything that requires dedicated play, real-time BGA, Tabletopia, TTS, those I can't do in the background. I have to be actively engaged, which makes it a little bit harder requirement, even with the online ease of access. But you tell me when, Devin, and I will... 30% chance I'll be there. 100% there's a 30% chance I'll be there.
100% chance. There's a 30% chance. 60% of the time, it works every time.
Exactly. But no, seriously. And that said, Meg, what's your game?
My game is Fleet.
Oh,
Fleet
the
the
dice
dice game.
game.
I have been trying a lot of roll and writes, and I am a big fan of Three Sisters. I enjoy that one a lot. So I got to try Fleet this past weekend because Alex was up for PAX East, and I enjoyed it a lot. We played Three Sisters after that, and I think I do still prefer Three Sisters, but I want to give this one a much better chance. There are a lot of things I didn't pay into, and this one has like a wharf where you're getting different buildings, and I think I haven't figured out exactly what the right ones to get yet are and things like that. But I had a delightful time with it, grabbing all the fishes.
And
It's
you
very
I
cute.
like the Fleet dice game. I've only played it one time, and I own it, but I've played it once with my wife and my sister, and I don't know why my sister's not there. I don't
My
know why I
sister.
did that, and neither is my wife, to be honest. I'm just gonna point out that way for no reason. But yeah, no, it's I do think that it's. I think that roll and writes, there are some of them that go into an interesting category where some of them can have a much bigger disparity between experienced players and non-experienced players on how, like, some of them are pretty.
Yeah, I
think,
agree. Like when I played with Meg, I played Fleet like, I don't know, 17 times, and she's played it the first time, and like I beat her from like 111 to 110. So like, yeah, I agree.
No, I just mean like in terms of like
No,
the warp
you're not
flow.
wrong.
Is
I'm just
that
being-
how it was?
It
Is
was.
that
It
how
was. It
Okay,
happens to
fine.
be that way, but
1 point.
I'm being a jerk for that. You are correct. You are 100% correct.
I was thinking of like trying to think of like Hadrian's Wall and Fleet the Dice game and stuff where like if you know what you're doing, I think there's some ways that you can manipulate the system of like how you approach shipping or like fishing versus how you approach the boats that you get versus the buildings that you go after. That I do think there's a little bit of like learning to do there. Whereas like, you know, some games like multiplayer Rolling Realms, I think is definitely maybe a little bit more
Lighter and
even from the
accessible.
get-go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, a lot
But I
of these
like
games
Fleet.
with complex interactive systems, and like we've talked about this with Feast Voden as well, like we've been doing a lot of. But the more complex and the more interactive the systems, the more you're going to have initial players potentially scoring much lower, and then players, once they figure out the systems, can find like 4 or 5 different ways to like approach the system that will all give them different advantages. The difference between a game like Fleet, the dice game, contrasted with a game like Hadrian's Wall, Feast Voden, is Feast Voden, there's always that aspect of other players getting in your way, so you have to know the systems that are optimal and also be able to pivot and adjust to also the special role cards you have. Versus I find games like Fleet, once you've played it enough times, is less in each other's way, and it's more like, okay, great, if you get great at this game and you play it 25 times and you stomp people, move on to a new game, you've done this one. It's like at that point, it is what it is.
And I think, too, knowing Three Sisters is what helped me jump into Fleet easier. Like, just knowing how they kind of set up their sheets and stuff that I think if I was, like, brand new to Fleet, it would have been a lot harder. Just to warn you guys, because I know we're going to be going into a game in a second. This is a lot of extra information, but in my office, my window is right there. And my oil thing is right below my window that someone's going to be delivering oil at some point this morning. So if I have to mute myself, it's because the dog will start going nuts, like, directly right here.
Wait.
Not a problem.
So, your oil
does
is
Devin
getting delivered?
Do you not know about the concept of delivered oil,
Yes.
Devin?
It's how we heat the house.
So Devin, I've never lived in a house like this.
Truck.
But this is a thing that exists. I know about this because we had neighbors who had this.
What?
There is the concept out there of houses.
I feel like you're in There Will Be Blood times, and I'm in modern times. Like, what is happening?
So this is a concept that I'm familiar with because I grew up with a neighbor who had this. And then when I found out Meg had it, I was like, that's so cool. You're the second person I've ever met. There are some houses that literally have their oil delivered. They're not on like some sort of network or system like the rest of us people's. Meg gets her internet from the special wires that give magic access, and then the oil person comes by later and drops off the oil.
Is it like the equivalent of natural gas? Like what does the oil do?
It's like, okay guys, now I have no idea. It goes into an oil heater, so I think it's similar to something like gasoline, like it burns the oil to heat the house.
You have an oil-powered generator for your house?
Basically? Is that true? Chat, can anyone in chat confirm how oil
Sean saying, yes, it's in lieu of natural gas. And Brian's like, I don't know why this is crazy. I get food delivered all the time.
I have never heard of this.
I think it's similar to something like gasoline, where it's like a oil drums, but it's a big oil truck that comes, and a guy brings a long hose, and it goes right directly. Like the part in my basement is right.
The people who go to the gas station in the huge tankers and put it into the ground, they do it for you.
I don't think it's that big.
I have no idea.
But in
those
theory,
might be gas people. Well, those might be gas trucks that are delivering gas to the gas station.
Like Devin, are you familiar with the fact
I'm not a doctor.
Devin, are you familiar with the fact that your
is a doctor?
Do you know that your AC has to have the Freon topped up eventually?
Sure.
Yeah, so like it's no different than that. It's just with heating on. I agree with you. It's not something. Sean saying it's the most common way.
It's a really big home utilizes around 5.3 gallons of oil in one day.
That's a lot of oil.
275-gallon tank is usually enough to keep a typical home warm the entire winter season.
That's not true.
Meg, how often do you
Massachusetts?
How often do you have your oil topped up, Meg?
This is the third time this winter that it's getting filled.
Is your oil tanker therefore an 87-gallon tanker?
I have no idea.
It's probably the most common way to heat a home in parts of the Northeast. That's fascinating.
This is what you get on the Board Game Coalition, guys. Whole different conversation.
I'm sorry to derail the chat.
No, Devin,
they might not even come till after this ends. But if they do come, I have to mute myself because Mifa will start going nuts until they're gone.
That's fine, but Devin will get all the points during that time frame.
That's fine. That's fine.
No, if you've never heard of this, it does feel like something out of the Dark Ages. I don't disagree with you. Like, it's weird. Sometimes life is weird because we have everything just on networks and systems, and it's like, what do you mean they're dropping off the oil?
Yeah. Yeah. And like I have a septic tank instead of
septic tanks I get, like, you know, if you just don't have, but like I guess in my mind what would be this, like, it wouldn't be surprising to me if you were still on like a central heating system where like you used wood burning and you had like a flume system that like heated the house. Like that makes more sense to me than someone going, I'm having my oil delivered. Yep.
Anyways,
that sounds like rural Arkansas crap.
With that educational little aside, today's game show is one that I had the idea for, I think yesterday or maybe 2 days ago, and I thought it was just a funny idea for a game show, so we're going to lean into it. Okay, and the system is totally different because it doesn't work with our normal 3.2 point buzzing in system.
You gotta
Because
refocus.
you know that you always have that one friend who's trying to explain that game to you, and it has the cards and the dice, and it had like the characters, and then the characters are attacking the person with the dice and the cards. And like some of the cards were blue, and like the dice I think were like there were some 6-sided dice and like some whatever dice. I'm making up all the systems right now. There's no game right now, but the point is, you know how there's always your friends who try to explain games to you, and you no idea what they're talking about.
You're going to badly explain games to us, and we have to guess them.
I am going to badly explain games to you all, and literally, you guys can start shouting whatever you want, as fast as you want, as much as you want. I'm just going to keep going and adding things as necessary until eventually someone gets it. So there's a simple 1 point per answer. Whoever gets there first gets it. And by all means, if you want to just take your time, we're just going to go ahead and explain games this way and go through it that way, which means I need to pull up my notes because...
It's getting hot in here. Someone
how
must
many,
have just
how
delivered
many
the
games
oil.
do you have?
There are 20 games. I'm realizing in hindsight I should stop doing an even number of games, because that just leads to like tiebreakers. I should be doing an odd number of games for this.
Jackal. It's a jackal. Is it a jackal?
I don't get that one. Is that what's that from?
It's Quagmire from Family Guy.
Oedipus. And so, to that end, give me a second while I put back into the screen we go to. So we're going to go ahead and pop over to our stream over here, which is still on fleet, but that's intentional because I don't want to show you the game yet. But we're going to start this off. Devin, are you ready to go?
Oh, wait. Are we not supposed to be looking at the screen?
You can look at the screen. I'm going to show you. I'm going to show the game after, so that the people at home can play along.
All right. Point system. 1 point. Whoever gets it, you can just say as many as you want. Okay.
Indeedio. Sorry for the little ding over there to people who are at home. Okay, and Maggie, you ready to go?
Yes.
Okay.
Maybe.
I'm specifically going to try to sound like I have no idea I'm talking about the whole time, just for the record. So it's not like I forgot. I'm just going to sound like... Okay. So this game has, like, a ton of... There's, like, a ton of, like,
power... the games listed in front of you, and you're like, it's not like I forgot what they are.
Yeah, this one had, like, a ton of...
You literally have them listed.
I know. This game has, like, tons of, like, powers. Like, the characters have a bunch of, like, powers.
Blood Rage.
And you're, like... No, it's not like Blood Rage. You like keep on moving these things around the board. So you're moving these like tokens around the board, and there's like, well, I guess it's technically like a collection of boards. Like the more players there are, there's more boards.
Spirit Island.
But boom, Spirit Island is the first number answer. Dun dun dun.
God. Devin's gonna suck at this game. I'm gonna suck at this game.
1 point to Meg.
Goodness.
If Devin spends so much time trying to say everything, he might miss it. Meg's just like targeted but right.
I'm listening.
That sounds like me. Never mind.
Number 2. So there's like this game is like all these different animals, and then like if you have like a if you're able to. Okay, Devin's annoying.
Was it Everdell?
Devin wins with his point scoring system. I had a whole thing. If you put them in a home, it's cheaper. There's different seasons, but like you're not always in the same season.
You said we could guess as much as
you could. You could. You're doing this fine. You're doing totally fine. I'm just gonna have to like go faster in my talking.
I'm gonna have a heart attack.
I love you guys so much. I love you so much.
So
I love how Alex gave the rules and he's upset that I'm following them.
He's
like, guys, I worked really hard
on
like, coming up with the name descriptions.
So I have to just make sure to not use keywords too early. That's the only problem. I have to be more specific. If I'm like animals and Devin's like Arc Nova Everdell, root.
That's what you're gonna do.
So you're going on all these like quests and stuff. Like you're trading in cubes and things. Like to go on these quests, you're like trading in cubes. But then like you also have like these players can like buy buildings or like own buildings or something like that. But then like when you go to these buildings, like you have to give me stuff or I get stuff. But then like there's also like these red like gem tokens, but like not actual gems. Like they're just like cardboardy gems. And you keep going on these quests, and like all the like the little cubes represent like the cubes are like, you know, fighters and things and stuff, but like they're just like cubes. Devin does guess it correctly.
I haven't played them.
Chat got it first, that one. You haven't played Waterdeep?
No. I know.
How have you?
Hey, wait, it has a digital
I know.
app.
Oh my gosh, Meg, this is a D&D game that came out when you got into board games, and it's like...
I know.
Wow. Okay.
It was one that I wanted.
Moving on to number 3. So, like, you keep, like... So this game doesn't really have turns, so to speak. There's no, like, turns. You can just take your turn as long as you want, as long as you just, like... You see, like, rolling dice, and you just keep taking your turn as much as you want here. And there's, like, there's all these tracks, and you're trying to get your way to the top of the track, and the game's called Can't Stop.
Oh.
There's turns.
So again, first of all, explaining the
There
game
are
badly.
some turns in Can't Stop.
I said there's no real turns. You keep going until you don't want to. Okay,
Oh,
and also,
I swear.
and also, part of explaining a game badly is going to be sometimes I get things a little bit wrong. That's part of,
Okay.
but just a little bit. That's the
That's
adjacent.
valid. That's valid. That's
Yep.
valid. You are leaning more heavily into that than I
Honestly,
thought.
the entire
That's
reason I
valid.
came up with this format is so that next time I make a mistake, I pretend it's not a mistake. But so you're like trying to keep, you're like in this game, you're trying to like not tell other players stuff, and you're trying to like keep it a secret, like that you don't actually know anything. The problem is like you don't actually know anything. You're like in these places, but you can't tell the people where you are, or you're trying to figure out. You're trying to figure out where you are, and the other players are trying to figure out if you know where you are. But like you can't really communicate that to the other players because you don't actually know where you are. But you have to keep it a secret. But if you keep it too much of a secret, then if you keep it too much of a secret, then the other players won't even know, and you might actually be losing. So it's all about like. No, it's not. No, you're so you're a player and you're in a place, right? But you don't. Depending on where you are, you either know what place you're in or you don't know what place you're in. Okay, and then you're trying to talk to the other players to like everyone has to answer questions or ask questions. Like you have to answer questions about what the place that you're in. And the problem is like some players do know where they are and other players don't know where they are. So like you're operating like, and there's a team game. So like there's a team that's trying to figure out the person who isn't in the right place. So, like, everyone's on one team, and they're trying to figure out who doesn't know where they actually are.
Code names.
No, you guys might actually not know this game.
The crypto.
No. So, like, you're effectively, like, a spy who doesn't know what location...
Spyfall?
I didn't want to use the word spy, but I had to.
What is this? I played that game like one time.
Spyfall.
I think you actually taught me that game.
I did not play Spyfall with you. I played this game a long time ago. I didn't know you. Yeah. Similar to, by the way, very similar to a game called, oh my gosh, what's the lizard that blends in places? A chameleon.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was gonna say a gecko, which isn't right.
Okay. Morganite, that's the point of this game. The point of this game is to sound like I have no clue what's going on, which is generally accurate. So, this game you guys actually might not know. I'm fully prepared for that fact, because I don't know if you've ever played this game.
More so than Spyfall?
More so than Spyfall.
Right.
Okay, guys, we do game shows every week. It's hard not to hit the same games every single time. But this game is like, there's like, the whole game is like all around all these, like, you're doing these auctions all the time. There's like these oil, speaking of oil and Meg's oil, there's like all this oil barrel tokens. And there's also like a map, but like, it's not like a ticket to ride train map. There's like a map on the board with all these cities. Like, there's all these cities, so you keep doing these auctions.
Birmingham?
No, you're trying to win these auctions so that you could, because I think you're trying to like supply power to the cities, and so you're trying
Power Grid.
Power Grid.
I've never played that.
Yep.
Yeah.
You just said powers.
And I was fine with the fact I said power. Like, I have a little sequence that I go through, and I try to be a little more obvious as it goes along. But moving on to the next one. So, what are those small wooden guys called again? Meeples. So this game has like meeples, and like the thing that's different though, like you're trying to put like these like almost like hats on meeples, but it's like kind of D&D themed.
Dwellings of Eldervale.
It is indeed Dwellings of Eldervale. Okay. Moving on. Okay, I definitely know this one. It has.
I love that he's like getting into the character. That's the best part. That's the best part of the game.
So I definitely know this one. You're playing. You have like you have a hand of cards, and you're trying to play sets of cards. But every player has to play like better sets of cards. So I play cards. Wow, way too fast. Okay.
I thought Scout when Devin said it.
Yeah.
That one at least. I thought Scout.
Got it. Okay, so you remember that like board that's not like that Power Grid has like a board but not really like a Ticket to Ride kind of board. So like this one is like kind of like a Risk style board. This game like has a map. It has like a whole world map.
Ticket to Ride.
It's no, it's like a Risk style board, but it's not like
Small World.
It's not fighting. The other what you're doing in the game, you're trying to fly around the board, but if you fly around the board, you have to discard sets of cards. Dun dun dun. Number 10. Okay. So there's like a whole there's like a whole bunch of tiles in this game, but you're trying to like grab the tiles to like build you're trying to like build stuff so you can win a race. Like you're racing through space and you're trying to grab stuff to make your like
Galaxy
your ship
Trucker.
better.
Mm.
Galaxy Trucker, indeed.
I've still never played that one either.
Interesting, but you know about it. You know about it. I know you know.
I've seen the giant one on the floor.
So, this game has like a bunch of like black and white cards that you're trying to fill. Like you have these like kind of objectives, like these black and white cards that you're trying to like
Project
fill up
L?
these cards. Wow, I thought I had to go further than that. Black and white cards. Jeez, man, good job.
That was
Okay.
good.
I had like all these scripts, but like I was gonna be like, and each card gives you stuff.
Guys, you're not letting me do my material. It's my material.
I was like, and each card gives you more stuff that like helps you get more black and white cards faster, but you can also like take actions to like make your pieces bigger. Like it's like trying to go through all this stuff.
I love you so much. You're like, I'm proud enough that I'm still gonna say it.
Well, in all of them, I never know how far I have to go, and I'm okay with the fact that after like 2 or 3 sentences, I can just riff it. It's all fine. So, speaking of cards, so like this game doesn't really have black and white cards. This game has like more of a regular deck of cards. Like it's regular deck of cards, but like you have these cards, and like some are good cards and some are bad cards. But the problem is you're not allowed to tell anyone you actually have the bad cards. You can only tell players you're only allowed to tell people that you have good cards. And so you're telling people the good cards that you have. You're trying to tell them how many good cards you have. But then if they don't believe how many of the cards you have, like you can like pay them. You can pay them to try to like believe you and like let you keep your good cards. Sheriff of Nottingham.
Oh, good. That's a good one. Good
I thought of this whole conversation about good and bad cards. It's such a terrible way to explain the game.
That's
I played this once that I like barely remember, but I heard paying off and I was like, I think.
Mike's like, I remember paying that guy. Okay. So, okay. So the whole game, you're just trying to roll dice, like, as quickly as possible. And you're trying to roll dice as quickly as possible to, like, match these symbols, because you're trying to get treasure. But, like, every once in a while, like, the music will stop, and, like, you're just trapped, and, like, you can't keep going until you, like, run back to your room. And, like, there's the torches. What?
Playing?
No, you're rolling dice. The whole time you're rolling dice, you're matching symbols the whole time. But you're trying to, like, get out with the treasure. Like, you're all working together. So you're working together the whole time. And, like, when the music goes boom, whatever it is, you have to, like, run back, and you're suddenly trapped until you roll the dice, and you're matching symbols. At this point, I feel like... Yeah, the music will stop. Like, you know, the music at some point just, like, it stops playing, and it makes a little boom noises, and you have to run back to, like, the center area. And then eventually you can get out and escape, but, like, you're working together the whole time. Yeah, I think, like, you really... What? Is that a guess? What do you mean?
Escape? Yes, is that a guess?
I mean, it's called Escape the Curse of the Temple, but...
Oh, I have no clue what that game is. You just stopped on the word escape.
I wasn't sure if you were guessing or not. I wasn't sure if you were guessing. I'm like, it's typically...
You said escape, and then you, like, looked, and I was like,
Because you, like, escape with a question mark, and I was like, is he
I've never
guessing
heard of this
or
game.
asking? You never heard of this game?
I thought it was, like, the exit games or something.
Oh my gosh, how old school.
I've never heard of that.
It says soundtrack CD. You actually play a CD when you play.
You could go to the website and use the app, which is how I've played it. The website has a little thing, but it does come with an actual soundtrack CD, which makes it sound, speaking of delivering oil, it makes it sound like a 60s game. But this is like...
top 20 games that Meg doesn't know?
I've never heard of this game ever.
It's the chat got it. Like 3 people in chat got it. This is like a classic game. I cannot believe you guys don't know this. Oh my gosh. Okay. We're fine.
No,
we're fine.
It looks like a lot of people knew it. I have no fucking clue.
Moving on. So there's this. So like Galaxy Trucker, like you have a ship. You have a ship that's like flying through space, but like you're trying to make sure the ship has enough like resources to actually get through its journey.
Black Angel?
No, not Black Angel. You have like these resources, but the problem is you can't like keep. Nobody really trusts you in the game, so you're trying to keep the resources going.
Battleships. Battlestar Galactica.
It's definitely not Battleship, but it is Battlestar Galactica. Moving on. So this game has like the coolest tokens, and you have these like super cool tokens, but you're trying to fight monsters the whole time. No, you're trying to fight monsters the whole time. But then, like, if you don't actually fight the monsters, like, your deck gets worse and stuff. You get these, like, extra cards, like, that go into your deck. But you have to, like... there's a stick that keeps track of the rounds. So, like, there's a stick that you're just moving along that keeps track of the rounds. Arnak is indeed correct. Dun dun. Okay.
Oh,
Matt.
that little token thing. Oh,
Yep.
oh.
Yep. I tried not referencing components too often unless I knew you both knew the game. I tried going with more generals unless I knew you both know.
You're
Okay.
fine. Yeah.
But I knew you guys know this game, so I was like, okay with these tokens. Anyways. So, this is one that I'm not confident who knows which. I mean, I pick games knowing that I'm not confident if you know, because sometimes it just has to happen. I don't know if you know this game at all, because...
I feel like you made up Escape. I feel like that was orchestrated. I feel like that's not a real game.
Oh, it's a fun game. It's interesting. It's a one-trick pony, but it's a fun game. But, so... This game has all these tiles that you're trying to place into your own, like, player area. And so, like, everyone has their own little player area, and you're trying to put these tiles down, but you're trying to, like, make these, like... you're trying to make these, like, larger colored sections. So, you're, like...
Calico.
You want these large colored sections, because then you have these marketplaces that you can buy... Every round, you get these marketplaces you can buy better tiles from. No, you're trying to buy better tiles that go into your grid. But the colors are, like, a whole thing, because every color has these different areas that you want to, like, have the most in of that color. So you're trying to get the biggest red area, the biggest yellow area, and then, like, you have these different benefits and these... there's these super cool, like, metal coins. Like, they have this, like, deluxe version with, like, these metal coins. And it's like, it's real time. The whole thing's real time. So you're real time putting tiles into your area, into your grid.
Oh, Sorcerer City?
Sorcerer City is indeed correct.
Mm.
You said real time, and that was the only thing that gave it to me.
Yeah, I tried being very careful with keywords as to when they go into the conversation.
I really liked that game. I have it still. I haven't gotten rid of it because I really want to like play it again.
I enjoyed it a lot, but it's one of those games that I always enjoy and am never compelled to play, which is a very large category of games.
Sure.
Okay. So, there's like trees. This game's like a whole bunch of trees and like water. And everyone's kind of working together, so it's like kind of co-op, but it's not really a co-op game. It's like you're trying to win on your own, but you're trying to like accomplish these goals together. And like you have all these cards, but the problem is you can only like all these cards have all these like, restrictions of like when you can play them and how you can play them, and they control all these markers that like affect a whole bunch of different like every player has their own like resources and stuff you can build. But the more cards you play, the more stuff you'll get, and you're trying to accomplish these. And your income's also like your score in the game. So like your income track as you move around. Terraforming Mars is indeed correct.
Trees and water.
I said trees and water. You're working together, but not really.
I got hung up on too much on the cooperative. I was like, I thought it was. That
was specific.
Yeah.
That was specific. I threw in you're working together, but you're like trying to win on your own. That was specifically obnoxious. Okay, I'm that jerk who explains games badly.
I'm that jerk that explains games badly.
Well, I want to give my whole pitch. If I throw you off in the first 5 seconds, that's how I give my whole pitch.
Yeah.
Okay.
You've adapted.
No, that was intentional in general. Just some of these things, like Everdell in particular, I originally said cute animals, and I was like, you're just gonna guess root and Everdell before I even say a sentence. But yeah. Successful. Alex could have just stopped that on that jerk. I could have, but as I said, I want to give the whole pitch successful. Anyways, moving on. So, there's all these like cards. You have these decks of cards, and they have just numbers in them. And you're trying to like place them down, and like there's a board, but like it's not really a board. There's like a kind of central square. There's like a square area that Tranquility is indeed correct.
Nice.
Didn't even get to say my whole pitch. You have to place the cards in order, but you want them like next to each other, but like not next to each other, because like if you're next to each other, then you lose too many cards, and you'll lose the game.
Are you still doing the script?
Yeah, I'm still doing the script. Meg, I want to do the script. I was up till 2 a.m. in the morning writing down a script for this game show, okay? The only thing more disappointing than this was when Devin got every single picture in 2.5 seconds. Okay. So, you have all these, like, characters that are, like, fighting each other. And, like, they're fighting each other based on the circles. Like, the way it works is, like, the board has, like, all these different colored circles. And, like, depending on where you're standing in the circles, that's how you could decide if you can fight the other person. And so, everyone has,
unmatched.
Indeed correct. And actually, someone in the comment guessed Blood Rage, which is a great guess based on where I'm up to. The circles you're standing in. But yeah. Okay, and we're down to one last game.
I haven't played Unmatched in a while.
I haven't played it in a long time. I have Cobble and Fog that someone sent me, though. So
good choices on both of your halves. Unmatched is tolerable. Although I do want to try it now as co-op and solo.
He's such a snarky mother effer.
Wow.
So, this game has, like... It has, like, miniatures, like, kind of has, like, these cute little people.
Zombicide.
No, cute little people that you're trying to help these people get to, like, the top of the board. So you're building the board.
Santorini
Is indeed correct. And that is the end of the show. That is the end of the game show part. I didn't do the counting. I think Devin won.
Yeah.
I think he got more. But that is the game show. Explaining games poorly. Next time, I'm going to be intensely obnoxious and explain things even worse. Not even like the unhelpful person who's trying and means well. I'm going to be because another way you can play.
I love how different your games are. Your games are
I'm enjoying
nothing
it.
alike.
I'm enjoying having different ideas. But like next time I want there's a whole different concept that's very adjacent where it's literally explaining a game badly. So it's a single sentence instead of a rambling like actually helping you but not. It's gonna be a single sentence where you try to explain the game in the like using Santorini. What's a way you can explain Santorini terribly, but it would be accurate in a single sentence?
A competitive Greek construction project.
That's perfect. That's exactly it. Competitive Greek construction project. You know, your project, your Greek project manager, or something like that, whatever it is. There's ways to explain the games poorly that can be immensely entertaining. I might do that one next, where it's a single, badly explained sentence. But
I can do that, and so that you can get to play if you enjoy playing.
I enjoy playing and I enjoy giving out the clues. Both of them are very entertaining.
I can do that for next week. I'll come up with shitty description.
That's what it is. It has to be enough that there's there, but like asymmetrical tower building, stuff like that. You can figure it out, but like it has to be enough that you could be mostly
Kevin.
That's not R Kevin, is it? I guess it is. Doesn't he usually have an orange?
I don't know if YouTube changes the color of
because he's always orange. Kevin, you're not R Kevin, are you?
What a terrible question.
No, but Kevin,
regardless of the answer, if he is, that should be offensive that we don't recognize. If he's not,
well, because we know the name, but usually the Kevin that I'm thinking of, you see.
Okay.
Well, but he could be our Kevin going no because you don't recognize him.
No. You know. Like when your friend shows up in the chat, like your buddy from work, and he's like whatever. It's a reasonable conversation.
Kevin, you're my friend, even if Alex is saying that.
No, he could be our Kevin now, but like it's only offensive if you had two Kevins and you're only pretending.
Would you be my Kevin?
Would you be my Kevin? Anyways, that is your game show. Normally we run a bit longer today, but today I have people showing up in like 9 minutes, so we are going to call it quits so that I can actually be prepared for my next meeting, because I've been on meetings since 7:30 this morning, and it's been lots and lots of fun. But that said, we should be back next week, right? Nothing's happening next week? Oh, wait. Oh, no. Oh, no.
And after all that,
when's
my
Passover?
oil never got delivered.
When's Passover? 1 second. Week?
Oh, yeah. When is Passover?
Maybe.
Next Wednesday is Passover Eve. I'll be in Toronto, so now I need to figure out either I run the game show from Toronto, or wait, I could be a participant.
Could we just do it on Tuesday?
Tuesday's definitely a possibility. We might do that next week's live show. Maybe on Tuesday. We will
I could just run it and you can participate.
Potentially, I just need to think whether I actually have internet connection stuff. But we'll figure it out.
But you'd still have to do all of this stuff.
Potentially, Meg could, because she has access to the overlays and things. We can talk about it.
I can do this stuff.
We can talk about it next week. There'll be a stream. It'll either be on Tuesday or it'll be on Wednesday. We shall figure it out. In the meantime, all of you should have an excellent day. Enjoy yourselves. Play good games. Go on TTS. Play Dune Imperium. Hop onto BGA. Play some Lost Ruins of Arnak. And or just watch your friendly neighborhood rules explainer Rodney Smith while you figure out what games to play next. But
have a good day, guys.
Have a good day, everyone. Thank you very much, and have a good one.
Bye.